Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to open and unbox Sam's bead box and do a necklace tutorial. So first of all, our encouraging word for today is true beauty is born through our actions and aspirations and in the kindness we offer to others. And that is by Alex Weck. Now Sam's box is beautiful this month. I'm not going to talk a whole lot because we're going to do a tutorial as well. But it's gorgeous, and I just want to say thank you to Sam for doing something wintry. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because none of the other boxes have, and this is absolutely stunning. So it is Winter Ball. I will have a link in the description box below if you want to sign up. It is joinsamsbeadshop.com. I do have a $5 off coupon. It is just Wendy plain. And so let's just get right into this. Okay, so number one, we have a check glass snowflake cabochon, etched crystal AB, 20.5 millimeter. This is beautiful. I've got white spray paint on my nail. I've been trying to get some Christmas presents together. I've made a bunch of things for people this year. This is gorgeous. Beautiful white snowflake cab with an AB coating. Then we have check glass faceted drops, Capri Gold Crystal AB. These are beautiful too. We're going to be using these today. So, so pretty. Look at that. Then we have crystal quartz double-headed point. That's these, and these are really beautiful as well. We're going to be using one of them today, and I think the one that I wanted to use was this one. I just liked it because it had some little, you can see the little sparkles in there. So we're going to be using those. These are really nice. They are briolette drilled. Really pretty though. All right. We are going to be using some of these as well. These are the check glass fire polish faceted rounds, Golden Capri. Absolutely beautiful. These are 4 millimeter. Look how sparkly. So pretty. Okay, then we've got our check glass royal diamond in clear crystal white silk. These are so nice. I'm just so thankful for a wintry, icy theme this month. So thankful for that, Sam. So it was just, we were inundated with fall colors, it seemed like, in every box. What is going on? Okay, check glass rondelle spacer, gold decadence. These are pretty. Just a simple little spacer, but they are awesome. I mean, you use them a lot. We'll be using those today. These I love. Check glass ornate rectangle, crystal, or Capri crystal gold. These are so pretty. Look at these. Oh, they're beautiful. And we will possibly be using them today. I'm not sure. I've got an idea in my head. We'll see how it goes. Love these. These are check glass Zuni bears. Rustic golden Picasso. They're so cute. Love that golden Picasso finish. That makes them very unique. So cute. And we may use one of those. I haven't decided yet. So throwing him over there just in case. These are some beautiful check glass eucalyptus leaves in crystal AB. And these are drilled through the top right here. Briolette style. They're gorgeous. Really pretty. I've got a lot of ideas for this box this month. Then we have some Toho, goodness, hex cut seed beads in size 11. These are really cool. Crystal luster is the color. They're beautiful. I'm not going to pull them out because, and there's the spray paint on my hand. I'm not going to pull them out because I'll spill them everywhere, but we're probably going to use them today as well. We have a check glass lacy drop Capri Gold. These are so pretty. I love this Capri color. There's nothing like it. It's just beautiful. Probably going to use 1 or 2 of those as well today. I'll pull that out. We have a beautiful grade B dark mix apatite square focal, 25 millimeters. This is gorgeous, and it's nice to get some apatite instead of lapis. Seems like we always get lapis or sodalite. This apatite is beautiful and different, and just nice to have something different. Love it. It's gorgeous. Then we have some grade A hand-cut faceted apatite rounds, 8 millimeters. These are beautiful as well. So sparkly and pretty. Look at that dark one there. Just beautiful. Like this one right here. It's got almost like a translucence, and you can see shimmer in there. Beautiful. I'm always putting them back in the bags because I'm afraid that I get things mixed up if I don't. These are check glass pinch beads in old gold. Very pretty as well. They have they're pinch beads because they look like they're pinched into a little triangular sort of shape. Triangular barrel shape. Might use a few of those, not sure. Check glass carved owl, etched dark capri gold. These are really cute too. Really cute little owls. I like that you can tell that they're owls. A lot of these animal beads and flower beads and stuff, I feel like from far away you can't tell what they are. But those you can definitely tell that they are owls. Check glass faceted fire polish round, crystal clear AB, 4 millimeter. These are gorgeous, beautiful, sparkly, perfectly wonderful little beads. So pretty. And we will be using some of those today in our project. Check glass daisy, crystal AB, 12 millimeters. Really pretty little flowers. Really, really pretty. Got an AB coating on one side. Check glass table cut oval, dark aqua. These are pretty as well. Gorgeous. Look at that. Really, really nice. They're not briolette drilled, which I love. I'm not a fan of briolette drilled. Check glass faceted fire polish round golden capri, 10 millimeter. It's really nice to get a 10 millimeter bead. I feel like these are a shade darker than the regular capri though. They look more, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but these look lighter. These look a little bit darker. I mean, they still go really well together, but they look more like, I don't know, like a deep, I don't know if it's the Bermuda blue, but they're really pretty. One tried to get away, caught it. Whoop, tried to get away again. Okay, then we have check glass lacy coin, clear crystal gold. These are pretty. Look at that. So beautiful. We may use one of these today. I'm still trying to decide exactly what I want to do. And then last but not least, we have our tiara cast components. These are made in the USA and are lead free. And we have the Celtic braid charm, antique gold plate. These are double-sided, and we will be using them today. And we have a beautiful tiara cast button. This is a mandala button, antiqued gold plate. Be using that today as well. And we have a heart bell gold plate, just one piece of this for our cabochon, but we're not going to be using our cabochon today. We will use it, so we'll save that to glue onto it a little bit later. Now that is Sam's box for the month of December, and I have to say it's my favorite box we've received this month because it's wintry. Oh, you know what? I missed these. How did I miss these little guys? These are check glass polka dot faceted rounds. Clear crystal. These are really pretty too. Look at these. They've got this little flat area on here, so that's why they're called polka dot. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It's a little flat. They do look like they have little polka dots on them. And we may use some of these today as well. We'll see. Okay, So I will have all of Sam's information linked in the description box below. There's a coupon code, of course, and yeah, we're going to make a necklace. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a couple of strands of a gold chain. I'm using this little, I believe this is like a 5mm Rolo type chain. We're going to use a couple pieces of that. I am using this white and gold beading chain. This is available on my website in 4 different colors. It is absolutely beautiful. As you can see, it's got the white and the gold, and we're going to use this today. You can use any beading chain that you have. I'm just using this because I love the way it looks with all of what we've got here. We're going to be using the drops from the box, the tiara cast button, these little tiara cast charms, the hex seed beads, our 4mm fire polish, our check glass polka dots, our 4mm fire polish in clear, these rectangles, the gold spacers, possibly the gold pinch beads, this lacy drop and the lacy coin, possibly the Zuni bear, one of the crystal points, and you will need some bead stringing wire. I have got Bead 7 strand in this satin gold color. You will need a clasp. I'll just be using a lobster clasp. And let's see, you will need a couple of crimp beads and a couple of clamshell connectors for the, let me find the right ones here, for the beading chain. Yeah, there we go. 2 of those. And 2 crimp beads. And I just use my crummy crimp beads for this because we're going to be just crimping this to hold it onto the chain. Now you will need better crimp beads for the bead stringing wire. Hold on just a second. Let me pick out a couple of the crummy guys. These are just the cheap Chinese crimp beads that break every time you try to crimp them closed correctly. So I use them for anytime I'm using a clamshell connector on a chain. But now I have to find the bigger ones because this chain is a little bit thicker. I do have some bigger ones in here. There's one. And there's another. Okay, so I'm using my little bit bigger crimp beads. I think they're size, these are, most of the crimp beads I use are size 2, so I would say those are size 3s. But they go on to this two-tone beading chain is a little bit thicker than the regular Coriana chain. Still holds a lot of beads, but it's a little bit thicker. So we're going to need those. Then we're going to need our wire guardians. So we need 2 of those. So we've got 2 wire guards, 2 crummy crimps, 2 clamshells, and we're going to need 2 good crimps. And for those, I either use Bead or Soft Flex crimps always, and I use crimp tubes usually, and I've got 2 here, 2x2 crimp tubes. We're going to need a lobster clasp. At least that's what I'm using. Whoa, I'm so sorry. Just like knocked the camera right out of the way. You can use, my camera stopped recording. I don't know if it stopped recording because it's out of space or because I bumped it. But I was pulling out ball head pins. So here they are. You're going to need some ball head pins. And of course your jewelry tools. So I'm using cutters, crimpers, round nose, chain nose, just whatever you've got that you use all the time. And I think that's everything. I think. All right, so let's set all this stuff out of the way for a moment. And we're going to lay some things out. So I'm going to use this beading chain. And these drops are going to hang on it, and this point is going to hang on it. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my point on here. Oh, and I have a bunch of spacers too. These are daisy spacers. Michelle sent these to me, and they have a big hole in them, and that's what you're going to need, something with a larger hole that'll fit over this chain if you're using this chain. Okay, so I'm going to make a strand of, let's see, so there's going to be this strand, okay? Then there's going to be my chain strand on the bottom. And for the chain strand, I'm going to have to hook these two together with a small jump ring. Let's do that. You won't even be able to see really where it's hooked together, but I had these two pieces that need to be hooked together. And so that's what we're going to do. Getting my little teenies out. That guy will hook it together, and you won't even be able to tell. Alright, so 2 pairs of chain nose pliers. Let's do that really quick. Because we lay our necklace out here, or I do anyway, I just lay it out like it would be if it was on me. I know a lot of people use the boards. I've never had success with those. I just don't like them. They confuse me more than they help me. So I just lay it all out. So there we got our chain hooked together. I just lay it all out like it's going to be when I wear it. And that's easiest for me. Excuse me, I've still got a cough. Okay, so we're going to have our chain layer on the bottom, our pendant layer in the middle, and our tiger tail beading wire on the top. Okay, so I think what I want to do first is work on the bottom layer, just so I have it ready. And we're going to be using the tiara cast button for this. So we've got that. We're going to be using some of these smaller beads. So probably these, and the clear fire polish. And then I think I'm going to do the lacy bead, this lacy bead here, the 2 charms, the hex cut, and possibly that one. But probably, I don't think I'm going to use that one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a tassel using our button. Okay, so let me open up some of these hex beads without getting them everywhere. They're so pretty. Get a few of these guys out. A few of these guys out. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm trying to decide exactly how I want to do this because I kind of want to use the bead stringing wire. That makes it hang really cool. So I do need an eye pin. I'm sorry. I didn't anticipate the need for the eye pin, but we're going to pull out an eye pin. Okay. And the way this is going to work is the eye pin is going to go right here on the button. And then we're going to hang our tassel stuff from this. Okay. And then this will hook onto the chain. So I think, and I may use a jump ring, I'm not sure. I do want to use a couple of strands of chain, I know that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those. So let's see how long I want to make this. I'm just going to cut a couple, probably 3 pieces, just kind of randomly. And then before I put this button on, I'm going to work on everything that's going to go on here first. I may end up having to use a jump ring because that eye pin opening is not really big. I think I will grab out, what do I do with my jump rings? Yeah, a bigger jump ring. So I don't want it to show behind the button. That's important. I want it to stay behind the button. So I don't want to do too big of one, but it needs to be big enough that I can hang some things from it. So this is about an 8mm, I'd say, jump ring. And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to open it up here, and that's what we're going to hang our stuff on. So I'm going to go ahead and put one of my chain pieces on here. And then I think I am going to do tiger tail for some of these things because it's just going to look better. And I also may do a couple of head pins. So let me get a couple of pieces of tiger tail. So we may need some more crimps because we will have to crimp the top of the tiger tail and the bottom. So pull out your cheapo crimps again. This is where you can use your cheap ones because all they're going to do is be a placeholder on the chain for the most part. You may want to use a couple of good ones at the top. Let's see. I'm just going to pull out a few of these. And what we're going to do, I'll show you here, is we're going to cut a piece of this tiger tail. I'm cutting it about 3-4 inches. And all I'm going to do is create a little loop at the top. I am just going to use my crappy crimp beads for this because it's not going to show. It's going to be behind the button, and it is going to be just in a tassel, so it's not going to get a lot of use. So I'm just going to create a little loop here. So I put my crimp bead on. I'm creating a small loop and going back through my crimp bead here. It can be a little fiddly. You can use your pliers to help you. Going back through the crimp bead. It needs to be a very small loop now. Really small, okay? Like you want it teeny weeny. Just enough really to fit over the head pin. So there's my teeny weeny loop. And I'm going to crimp this bead down. And I'm just smashing it so that it holds my wire. That's all it's got to do, okay? And then it will go on my jump ring here in a minute. But first I'm going to bead it up. So we've got some absolutely beautiful beads here. I think that I may put my, let's see, let's do a couple of the hex beads at the top because they will hang behind the button and kind of, see, look how sparkly these are going to be on there. Then I'm going to do a gold bead, a capri blue bead. I need to cut these loose. I know I've got a mess on the bead mat, but this is how it happens. I think actually I'll do another gold bead. Maybe. And then one of these clear crystal. And all I'm doing is creating a little beaded strand. It's going to hang on here in the tassel. Will be really pretty. A couple of these pretty hex beads. Another capri blue. See that? So when we hang that on this jump ring, it's just going to be a pretty little beaded strand. Let's do another one of these guys. Now what I could do if I wanted to is I could make a loop on the bottom of this as well and hang one of these guys from it. That might be kind of cool. Let's do that. So I'm just going to put him on. I am going to come around. Whoops, I've got to put the crimp bead on first, don't I? Put the crimp bead on first. And then put him on. Come up and around. Through a few of these beads. Now, you just want to let gravity dangle this. You don't want it to be poker straight, so just kind of gently. And I am going to crimp this correctly, even though I've got a crappy crimp bead here. I think it'll be okay. We're going to try it. I could just smash it down, but I think I will try to crimp it correctly. These little crappy crimp beads, they break a lot, but sometimes they work. So I did get it smashed in the middle. Let's see if I can get it to... They're awful. They just want to spin. They don't want to stand still. And a lot of times they break when you do this step. You can hear it, it's kind of like it made a noise. They just don't do very well. That one did okay. It closed up, so we're good to go. And we're going to trim this. And there we have a pretty little dangle with our drop. So let's hang that on there. See that? How pretty that looks with the chain. Okay, so on the other side here, I really want to use this lacy bead. He's really cool. So I think I will just make a drop. Do I want to do that, or do I want to do him on tiger tail too? I think I'll do him on tiger tail too. I like the suppleness of the tiger tail. It's not stick straight, and I really like that. So I'm just going to take the crimp bead, and I'm going to crimp the end of this one. So moving it way down, just going to crimp it flat on the end. That's going to hold our beads on. Then let's put him on here. He's so pretty. Okay, just like that. Yeah, that's going to be really, really pretty on there. We can scoot it up, or we can make it dangle really long. I think I kind of like it right about there. So I don't want to do the same thing. I'm just going to take this one and put these hex beads all on it. I may do another one of those in a minute, but for this I want it to be a little different. So I'm just going to do a bunch of the hex beads. And you can create your own custom tassels this way. And they can be so, so pretty. You guys know I love tassels with a passion. Well, see how long I want to make this one. Probably right about there. So I'm just going to keep on adding the little seed beads here. These hex cut are so pretty. They have such a beautiful shine and they catch the light. Really nice. And this piece of this necklace is actually going to take the longest to make. The whole video won't be like crazy long. I mean, it's probably going to be kind of long because it does take a while to make stuff, but this is taking the longest is what I'm trying to say. So that looks about right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to put my little crimp bead on. Going to come up and over, make a little tiny loop, and going back through a few of those beads. Maybe. There we go. All right. Let me grab something to pull this up with. Oh, shoot. The whole thing came off. These teeny tiny pieces are so fiddly. I guess that's the jewelry maker's trouble in life, is the teeny tiny fiddly things. But man, we can make some pretty stuff using them. Alright, I think I must have had the wrong end of the piece over there a second ago. There we go. Okay, I'm going to pull it up to a tiny loop. And again, I want it to have some movement, so I'm going to make sure it's kind of has a way to move around. And then I'm just going to crimp it. I am going to try to make that loop just a little smaller. It just needs to be a teeny tiny loop for this. Now, you want to watch your hex bead, because when you crimp down, you will break him if you're not careful. Okay, that worked out okay. Give it a tug, If it's going to come loose, you want it to come loose now. So always give it a good tug just to make sure. And then we'll just hang this right on our jump ring. Maybe. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to do another piece of chain. Oh, it's going to be pretty. It's making a pretty little tassel here. What else? Let's see. I've got this other piece here, and I would like to get it on here. I might do it just on a regular jump ring, or, goodness, a regular eye pin. So let's go ahead and pull out our eye pins here. And I'm going to hang the charm right on the bottom. Close that up really good. And then I'm just going to do some beads on here. So I'll do blue and gold. Not really any certain pattern, just kind of random, just getting all the colors in. And I don't want this one to be super long. I kind of want it to hang up here. Oops. So let me pick up my tassel. Chain came off there. Okay. So this one I kind of want to hang up here a little bit. So I may give it just a couple more beads. We'll do that one, another of the clear. Yeah. And then we're just going to make a loop. So I'm just going to go a wrapped loop. So 90 degrees. Find my round nose pliers. We're going to come up and over, rotate this up, come under, and then I am going to wrap down towards my beads. So I'm going to take my, you want to get this in a good grip here on the top, and then just, we're just going to wrap down. I'm just doing a little spiral here with the wrap. Okay, going to trim that off. Tuck it under. If it's sticking out, be careful not to crack your fire polish bead. And I'm just going to hang it right on here. Very nice. I'm going to do this last piece of chain on this other side, like this. And I think that's probably good enough. I don't think I'm going to do anything else. I like that. It's very pretty. I'm kind of, well, I may do one more tiger tail strand over here with some of the colored beads. So let's take another tiger tail strand. I'm not going to do a real long one. I'm going to take my crimp bead and make my little loop up here. So just turn this under. I'm telling you. Oh my gosh. Okay, what I'm going to do, let me just tell you, and then I will pause the camera and do it so you guys can do your own. I'm just going to make one more loop, or one more of these beaded strands just by itself, not with anything attached to the bottom. So I'm just going to make my loop, put my beads on, put a crimp bead on the bottom to hold the beads on and crimp it, and then hang it on here. So go ahead and do that and come right back. Okay, so I've got all of my tassel pieces on. Now I'm just going to hook this jump ring right onto the eye pin that we've got on our button. Close this up really good. You do not want this to not be closed because things will fall out. Okay, and then we're going to pick it up And there we have a beautiful little tassel. I don't know. There we go. Yeah. I really do like it. I kind of want to, I wonder if I want to put this over on the other side. No, it's okay. I'm like, I may switch them, but I don't think I'm going to, or maybe I will. Maybe I will switch them. I kind of like, I'm kind of picky about my tassels. So, like this right here, I've got these two kind of hooked, they're too close together. So I may switch, put this one over here and put this other one on the other side. So take this off, scoot this over here, and it may not make any difference, but it may. Oh, shoot. Okay, just stick this over here. And actually, that strand is making it hang kind of weird, so I may actually just take it off. Or I may put it on a jump ring. Okay, so let's put this back on here. See, sometimes you have to fiddle with these things. You have to, you know, try them, see how they look. If it doesn't look right, change it up. It's not a big deal. If you mess up, you just take it off and redo it. That's the good thing about beading. Okay, so this guy I'm going to hook on with a jump ring. Let me find a little one. Just because I think it'll make him hang better, and if it doesn't, I'll just take him off. I thought I wanted him on there, but he's hanging kind of strange. So let's put it on like this, and then put it on here and see if that helps. A lot of times just adding a jump ring will make something hang a whole lot better and look the way that you want it to. Alright, let's try this. Then we'll put our button on. I do like that better. Okay, now what we're going to do here with our button is we're just going to make a wrapped loop. So I'm going to come up a little bit here. I'm not going to do it down there. I'm going to do it right up here. Okay. And see how that leaves a little space, but you don't really want to do it right behind your button or it's going to poke out weird. And then I'm just going to make my wrapped loops. I'm coming up and over, rotating up. That went a little wonky. Let me grab it. It's kind of hard to do with the button on there, but okay. And then I'm just going to attempt to wrap a couple of times. I'm just wrapping for security, not for looks, because it's going to be behind the button. That's really all that you need to do is just wrap it so it won't come undone. And I just like wrap loops because they're so much more secure than the other kind. Okay, now we're going to trim that off. So now we have our beautiful little tassel with our button. Here it is. Okay, now this is going to hang on my chain down here. So let me move these out of the way for a minute. The rest of this is going to go a lot quicker. It was making the tassel that kind of takes some time. I'm just going to move these things out of the way a bit. Okay, so here it is. It's absolutely beautiful. Wow, it's so pretty. And it's going to hang from this chain right here. Now I can either hook my chain through the little loop I've made here, or I can hook it on with a jump ring. I'd kind of like to just hook the chain through the little loop I've made here, if that'll work, and I think it will. Yep. Okay. So we're going to scoot this all the way down. Now here's where you kind of have to make your decision on how long you want your necklace to be. So this is a 3-strand. I want this one to be fairly long because it has this tassel on the bottom. So I'm just going to hold it up and see kind of where I would want it to lay on me. And so I think I'm going to end up using the entire bit of this chain. And I will measure that here and tell you what it is. Yeah, definitely going to have to use the entire bit of chain. Okay, so let me measure this really quickly, and you'll know kind of how long to make yours if you want it to be the same as mine. So I've got 12 inches on this side, 13, 14 and a half, and 14 and a half. So 29 inches of chain for my bottom layer, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our beading chain. Where is it? Here it is. And we're going to be hanging our little point piece from it. Okay? And what you need to do, I've got so much stuff on my bead mat here. What you need to do is match up your ends. So I'm going to match these two ends up here on the one side and match the ends up on the other side, and then kind of pick it up and make sure that the gold and white chain hangs where I want it to. If it's too low, like it is right now, then I'm going to shorten it until I get it right where I want it to hang. And really right about there is where I want it to hang when it's on. So I'm going to shorten it just a tad more, well, lengthen it just a tad more. I want it to go a little bit lower. Right about there is really pretty. And so I'm going to cut that right here, even with my other piece, okay? So I'm just going to take it, cut it right there. And now you've got it to where it's going to hang just like you want it when you put everything together. Okay, so now we're going to work on this middle strand. Let me take this one away for a minute. You don't need it. So for this one, what I wanted to do was have this pendant, this piece in the middle, and do some dangles with these guys. These are so pretty. And I'm going to use some gold spacers in between. So I'm going to take this, I am going to put my pendant piece on, and then I'm going to do about 2 or 3 gold daisy spacers. And I love the way these look when you layer them. So let's do a couple on, I'm actually going to do 3, I think, on each side. So there's 3 on that side. Yeah, we're going to do 3 on this side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our little drop here with our ball head pin, and we're just going to make a small wrapped loop. So 90 degrees, up and over, and just wrap a couple of times. Again, mainly for the security. Okay. Trim it up. Tuck it if you need to, but be careful not to crack your bead. And then this is going to go right on the chain. Right like that. Okay, I'm going to do one for the other side, same thing. And I am going to alternate the blue and the clear little drops and the snowflake spacers. So we've got this guy. So see how this looks? And then I'm going to do probably 2, well, I don't know if I should do 2 or 3. Probably will stick with the 3. Let me see how 2 looks. Yeah, I think it's going to need the 3. So I'm going to do 3 snowflake spacers in between each drop. Okay, so like this. Yeah, it needs 3. And then I'm going to do my clear ones, my AB ones. Do I want to do clear or do I want to just make them all blue? I think I am going to do the clear. So I'm going to do the same thing with the clear, and I'm going to alternate the clear and the blue all the way, not all the way up the necklace, but I'm just going to do a section in the middle because this chain is so pretty that I actually want it to show. It's just beautiful, and I love the way it looked, the white and gold with all of this other white and gold and clear that Sam had in the box. I just thought it was really pretty together. I want that cut. There we go. So that's what I'm going to continue doing. So I'm doing a clear drop on each side. And then I'm going to do 3 spacers and then my blue. And I'm not sure how many I'm going to do on each side. I'm just going to go ahead and make a few, and then we'll come back and evaluate. So go ahead and do yours, and then come right back. Okay, so I've had a small change of plans. I did not like the way the snowflake spacers were looking. It was just way, way, way too much gold. It was overpowering the beads. So I have these smaller little spacer beads that I decided to go with instead, and I think these are going to look a lot better. Let me see. Yeah, they do. So these are just a little smaller, I don't know, just a spacer. You've probably got something in your stash that it could even just be a spacer bead, like the, you know, little round spacer bead. It just has to be big enough to fit over this chain. So that's what I ended up doing. I'm going to switch it up and do 2 of these in between each thing, and that's going to look a lot better. The snowflake spacers, they were just like hugely overpowering for some reason. So I'm going to continue to do this. I just wanted to let you know that I had made that little change in plans, but I think this is going to look a lot better. And I'm probably going to do another clear, another blue. Probably going to do about that many per side. So 4 blue, 3 clear, I think. So go ahead and make yours and come on back. Okay, so I had another change of plans and decided less is more. And I'm just going to do the blue dangle on either side, and I added a jump ring. It makes it hang better. So that's what I'm going to do with this strand. I don't know, it just, less is more sometimes, and it was just getting to be kind of crowded looking. Okay, so now for my final top one, we're going to use some tiger tail. And you want to do the same thing on this one that you did on the other one. You want to even up the ends here. Okay, even up the end. And just decide where you want it to hang in relation to these other ones. So I'm going to even up the ends on this side as well. And when I pick it up, I just want to make sure that the tiger tail hangs where I want it to hang. So right now it's tangling up. Let me just do this. Okay, so you kind of just want to hold your necklace like it's going to be when you're wearing it. I'm sorry, I have to pick it up off the bead mat to do this. And then figure out where you want your tiger tail to hang, your tiger tail strand to hang. And I think that that looks pretty good for where I want mine to go. So I may cut a little extra just to be sure that I've got enough, because you have to allow for the crimping on these too. So let me tell you what I cut my tiger tail at. So I cut my first strand, what did we say, 29 inches. My second strand that I did here, I cut at, let's see, 12, 24, about 25 inches. And then this tiger tail strand that we're going to do, I just cut at 12. It's about 25 inches too, but I'm allowing for about, I don't know, 2.5 inches for the crimping. I just want to be sure I have enough room for that. So what I'm going to do on this one now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to crimp the end. And we do need a ring. I forgot to say that, but we need a ring for our lobster to clasp onto. And that is what we can hook our chains onto as well. Let me pull out two just to be safe. And then we need a ring to hook our lobster on with. And the one that I hook my lobster on with is the one that I'm going to, you know what, I'm just going to do the same big one just to keep things good. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp this to this piece, I think. I had debated using lobsters on this. I'm definitely using lobsters on the other one, but I think I am going to crimp this one with a wire guard just to keep it, you know, to where I don't have to worry that it's going to fray. Okay, so I'm going to use my crimp tubes. I'm going to put a crimp tube on, and then I'm going to go up and around my wire guardian. And you can do this now, or you can, that's an open jump ring. If you use a closed ring, obviously, you're going to have to insert it onto the ring right now. But with it being an open ring, I don't have to, but I am going to go ahead. I mean, why not? So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, just like that. And then I'm going back through my crimp bead, my crimp tube. Okay, so there's what I've got. Now I'm going to try to make sure that my little wires aren't crossed in here, and I'm going to crimp this. So when you crimp, you just lay it in that back divot of your crimping pliers. Crimp it down, turn this sideways, and close it right up. And there you have a little crimp. Okay, so now I'm going to bead this chain up, and I'm trying to decide kind of what I want to do on it. I don't want to do anything really massively big, except for in the middle here, I might add on a dangle. So let me get all of these little clear fire polish beads here. Got all these guys. We've got all these little hex cut ones. Just trying to separate them out a little bit. I have a ton of the hex cut. We've got the pinch beads, which I don't really think, they're a little bit different shade of gold. So I don't think I'm going to use them, but I am going to use these gold spacers. Definitely going to use the blue fire polish. And the hex cut. And I am trying to decide if I want to hang something in the middle. Let's see what else I've got here. Sam gives us tons of stuff in his boxes. He really does. So I may not hang anything in the middle. I may just leave it just a beaded strand. So here I have my strand. And what I'm going to do, where are my hex cut beads? Here they are. I do like these too, though, and would kind of like to use them. These are so pretty. I may do a center, just like a little center area with those. We'll see. Okay, so let's go ahead and bead this up. So I'm going to do several hex cut beads on one end. I'm doing like 5 or 6, because this is going to be the part that nobody really sees back behind your neck. So I don't really want to use the good beads on that. In fact, I could pull out just some gold seed beads and do that. Okay. I'm going to do several more of those. And I'm just making sure that they go over the little tail of the wire there, just like that. Okay. And I'm just going to add on, I'm probably going to do about a section down to here of these because this is the part that's not going to show. And even though these are beautiful, I don't really want to use the fire polish beads on them. Like I said, I could have pulled out some of my gold seed beads, but I'm not going to. Or you could use spacer beads even. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just adding on a bunch of these little hex beads just to basically take up the space in the back of the necklace. I am going to use them in the part that you see too because they're just beautiful. They're gorgeous little beads. I know this video is getting long. I am going to put a warning at the beginning of it that I kind of changed my mind several times. So you watch the whole video before you make this probably would be a good idea. See how you want to do it. Let's go ahead and bead these up. A few more and then I'm going to start the beading using the regular beads. The good thing is with the tiger tail, these are easy to pick up. Okay, so there is that much. Now let's start in with the regular beads. So I'm going to probably do a gold spacer, maybe a couple of gold spacers. And then I'm just going to start kind of randomly picking up these others. I'm not going to do it in any certain order. Just very random. See, just like that. So I'm going to do this pretty much. I'm going to bead up the center and then I'm going to make sure that I have enough room to do an even amount on this side of these. Okay, so go ahead and just bead your center. I think when I get down to the middle, I may do a couple of these like this, or maybe a drop of one of them. We'll see. But go ahead and bead until you get pretty much to the center and then come back. Okay, so I'm about halfway into beading this and I cannot really tell how it's going to hang. So I'm going to go ahead and add these onto my ring up here so I can pick it up and decide how I want to do it. So I'm just going to take this clam, put my beading chain through it, and if your hole is too little in the clamshell, you can take your beading awl and make it just a little bit bigger. You may have to do that. See, now it goes right through. And then I'm just going to put my crimp bead on, and all I'm going to do with this is mash this crimp bead down on the end. I'm just going to put it on a little bit, scoot it down so it's not right up on the very tip, and then just give it a good strong smash down. And then when you pull this up, you can close it right over top. And if you need to trim it, you can, but that makes a great little closure for this. Now I'm just going to open this up, my jump ring here. And I don't know if this, hopefully this clamshell may not fit on there. I may have to put some, I may have to use a jump ring. So let me grab a little tiny jump ring because that clamshell, the little holes are too small. That's okay, it's no big deal. We will add our jump ring. There we go. And then I'm going to hang my chain on the bottom, a chain layer. So here we have our chain layer on the very bottom. Now that should fit on there. Is it not going to? Am I going to have to use a jump ring there too? Goodness gracious. Okay. Jump ring again. Whoops. Use my tinier ones. Sometimes this stuff happens when you're making things. Jump ring through this tiny chain. Okay. Here we go. Chain layer on the bottom. Then our beading chain layer. Then our beaded tiger tail layer. Close this up. Now, when I pick these up, I can hold the other end and I can just see how it's going to hang, okay? So that's what I needed to be able to do. So I still need quite a few beads on this middle layer, and I'm going to go ahead and continue to put them on, and then I will, when I get around to the middle, I will come back and we'll decide what to do if we want to do anything for the middle strand. Okay, so be right back. Okay, so what I've decided to do with this is just bead the whole thing, and it is the 25, what was it, 25 inches, but I've got a couple inches for the crimping. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, basically you can fold this in half. So here it is, it's crimped on. You can fold this in half, allow a little bit out for your crimping, and then that kind of shows you where you'll need to start these seed beads. Okay, so I'm going to bead up to here, then I'm going to seed bead up to here, then I'm going to crimp it on, and then we're going to hang this little drop in the middle down here. But first I have to get it on there before I can figure out where the middle is, okay? So go ahead and bead up here, use your crimp beads or your seed beads, and then crimp it and come on back. Okay, so everything is now in place and put together. So I'm evening up my ends here, and I'm pulling this down to find the middle of this piece because I do think I want to hang this little drop. So I'm going to get a jump ring, open it up, and put the little drop on. And then I'm just going to find the middle, which appears to be right about here, and put this on here. Now, if you wanted, you could put it on a bigger jump ring so that it will float to the middle, which is fine, but I think that's pretty close to where I need it to be. Okay, so everything is together now, and I'm going to put it on a form so you can see the whole thing, but let's put the ends on. So we've got, you want to make sure that your chains are correct, your chain, then your beading chain, then your tiger tail, in the way that they're laying on the rings. And then I am going to put an extra ring on this side. And then I'm going to take my lobster, and with a smaller jump ring, I'm going to hook it to this one. Okay, so we're just going to hook this right on. And there we have it. Now you could hook a couple more rings on here if you wanted for adjustability. That would be just fine. I may add just one or two more so it looks even, not weird with just two there. So let's add another one. Okay, and there we have it. So let me put this on a form so you can see the whole thing right. Okay, so here we are in the light box, and here is the whole necklace. So we've got our tassel here, Go up to our really pretty crystal point pendant. And then our beaded strand. I think it turned out fabulous. So thank you, Sam, for doing a wintry mix box. It is much appreciated. And yeah, I think this turned out really pretty. I know it's a long video and it's a longer project, but sometimes, you know, when you have things that are this beautiful, you need to make a longer project to showcase them. So I think this turned out great. I will have all the information in the description box below this video. If you want the beaded chain, the gold, I am not focusing now. There we go. The gold beaded chain, it's available on my website. I have it in brown and black. I'm sorry, black and gold, brown and gold, turquoise and gold, and this white and gold. So you can check that out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.